Hi, folks. I'm Hal Weeks for Stalking the Wild Autoharp, and I am coming to you from the Daigle shop, where I have an interesting discussion with you about tuning, using a tuning wrench versus using fine tuners, why you might want fine tuners, what the difference is between luthier fine tuners or pro fine tuners and Oscar Schmidt fine tuners, and Oscar Schmidt fine tuners are missing an important piece of the puzzle. And I wanted to share that with you, show you the difference between two different electronic tuners and what they sound like. And so this is going to be kind of a rambling video because I'm learning that I just ramble when I talk, and I've got to roll with that, okay? Because it's hard to get it all in, it's hard to get it all set up, and I think of things on the fly that I need to add, and so rambling it's going to be, and that's the way I'm going to ramble for you. So this is my little foray into the world of tuning. It's not a how-to tune video, it's a how to fine-tune your tuning video and why you might want to do that. Okay. This is the old Snark that we used to sell here at Daigle Autoharps, and we really liked it because of the fact that it hears the low strings so well, and the clip, unlike all the other Snarks, the clip was square. And I really liked this because the clip would fit right in between like that. And that was nice. This doesn't go in quite like that. So I'm going to show you the other way to use these. This is what we sell now because this one's been discontinued. This one also hears the bass notes really well, which is the important part. If you have an electronic tuner that does not hear the bass notes, you can get one for sometimes under 20 bucks, 20 to $25 for a Snark. This is the silver Snark. This is a black one. They come in silver. They come in a few other colors. But these are actually pretty good. And they clip on like this really well. And you can go up on this end too. Although this Autoharp is currently wearing this tuner clip down here. This is attached to this tuner, and it's through a wire. When you're tuning, it's always a good idea to have, I'm going to turn this off for now, save the battery. It's always a good idea to have a tuner clip or a clip on tuner. Yes, you can get them on your phone, but if you're just listening through the mic that's in the tuner, other sounds can confuse the electronic tuner, like motors running. Like in your house, if it picks up your refrigerator running or your air conditioner running or vacuum running or fluorescent lights running. Here in the wood shop, we have all kinds of tools back there, and so it's out here I had trouble with it hearing cars going by out in the parking lot, and so I decided to go and get my tuning clip. So I plugged it in and clipped it on, and now it's listening through the clip, which has a little built-in microphone into it, and so it hears really clearly, as do these, because these have their own built-in clips, and they're using a contact microphone instead of listening to what's coming through the air, and that makes the tuner a lot more accurate. So that being said, these are now a thing of the past. This is the latest silver Snark, and it works really well. I also want to mention that I have found rechargeable button cell batteries. And please, folks, if you're not using rechargeables, please use rechargeables. They cost a few more bucks, but you can recharge them 1,000 times. And they don't go in the landfill and do all those nasty little things that we're doing to the environment. So rechargeables, they light up brighter with the rechargeable batteries, and the rechargeable batteries last longer than the ones that you buy stale in the Ever-Ready pack. So just saying, when you get the rechargeables, you get a group of them, like 3 or 4, and you can keep several on charge, and it lasts a good long time. Now, that's the Snark. This thing I got because I tune lots and lots and lots of Autoharps, and it is rechargeable, and it is more accurate than the Snark. And everything I'm saying here is leading up to this experiment as to, is the Snark accurate enough, and is this more accurate? And if it is, how will the Autoharp sound compared to how if it's tuned to the Snark? So that's our little experiment. So that being said, let's try something here. I'm going to turn both of these on. Okay, we're going to try it on the C sharp string here. Notice that I'm reading flat on both tuners. If you don't know how to read a strobe tuner, if it's turning that way, it's flat. If it's turning this way, it's sharp. And if it's totally still, it's in tune. And you want to try for that. This, if it's green, you're in tune. If it's to that side and it's red, it's out of tune. If it's to this side and it's yellow, it's out of tune. So we're going to work with this C sharp, and it's saying that it's pretty flat. So now we're going to adjust, and I'm going to use this tuning wrench to do this adjustment. This is in tune. That still has some drift to it. You see that? So we got to go just a hair higher. This is what you get into, as you already know, when you're tuning an Autoharp. See, this is just a hair too high. So if you push on it when it's too high, instead of turning it. But here's what I'm finding, is that there's a lot of times when this is saying that it's in tune, but this is just very slowly drifting to the left or the right. But what I recently did was I tuned all of that really slow drift out. And first I experimented with the tuning wrench. And what I learned is that that amount of drift, which is very slow, is very hard to get rid of with this kind of tuning wrench. And this won't even tell you that you're that much out of tune. This is saying it's good enough. This one has a wider range of notes that it will, of pitches that it will tolerate as being in tune. But this one, it's just a little bit too high. See, that's really close, but it's still coming in a hair sharp. See, it would drive me crazy trying to get that little tiny bit tuned out. So I'm going to use the fine tuner. Fine tuners are little screws that are on the other end of the Autoharp. And in front of the fine tuner unit, there is a bridge sitting. But this fine tuner, I can adjust this screw so that I get that to be absolutely stationary. There we go. Now here's the deal. This might seem a little bit anal retentive to you. And for one note, it is. Because nobody would ever hear that difference. But what I discovered is if I tune every note exactly still on that strobe tuner, it sounds better. It sounds like noticeably better than when I tune everything to green on the Snark. What I noticed through doing this process with the Peterson Strobe tuner is that by tuning all of those tiny little differences out of the harp, I would start to hear the other strings vibrating sympathetically with the note that I was tuning. Like an octave above, I could hear the harmonics that were ringing in those strings as it was coming into tune. And when the whole harp was tuned with those little tiny differences taken out across the spectrum, across all 37 strings, then when I played that harp in that perfect in-tuneness, the whole harp was much fuller sounding. And I took it into Pete Daigle and I put it in his hands and I said, play it. And he played it and he said, wow. And he uses a Peterson too, but he doesn't tune to perfectly still. We don't, like, we're tuning with a tuning wrench when we tune Autoharps here at the shop. And the whole point of the fine tuners that we put on every one of our harps is so that you can tune it to that level. I wanted to talk about the fine tuners now. I like the fine tuners on Daigle Autoharps because I make the fine tuners on Daigle Autoharps. That's one of my big jobs that I do here, and I've made, I think, the last 5 batches, maybe a batch or 2 more than that. I make them about twice a year and have to make like 100 or something when I make them, depending on what we need, because I'm building for stock and for what we're going to need for the harps that we're about to build. And they're not all the same. There's different units. Anyway, I'm getting off the track. Fine tuners are to get that really close tuning that you need in precision tuning for, say, diatonic autoharps, where you have to tune the pairs of strings exactly the same. The fine tuners, there's different ways that they're constructed. I'm going to show you first what we do here. This is Pete's patent. Pete invented these fine tuners. They're called flatline tuners, and this is the patent that he had probably. I don't know if this is his drawings or if he had a draftsman draw this up, but it's basically a drawing of his fine tuners and how they work. And I hope this is going to come across in the shot because right here you can see how the string runs through the fine tuner and the screw gets screwed down, and it just bends the string a little bit and puts a little bit of extra tension on it a little bit at a time, and you're tuning with threads. instead of friction. These are designed to hold back against high tension that wants to pull them the other way. And so they have to be set in wood. And it has to be tight. That makes them hard to turn. The other component of fine tuners that makes them work is that in front of them there is a bridge right up here. It's this brass rod and this wooden stick that sits in front of it. Oscar Schmidt fine tuners don't have this. Schreiber fine tuners do. Schreiber fine tuners are also excellent tuners. They have an extra component that gets threaded onto the string from this end, pulled down to this end, and then gets screwed in to a base. So there's a couple of moving parts there. But those also have a bridge that fits in front of them. That bridge levels the strings. That bridge transmits vibrations from that end of the string into the wooden soundboard of the instrument, and that brings volume to the instrument. And the Oscar Schmidt design doesn't have that bridge in front of the fine tuners. Here's an Oscar Schmidt Autoharp, and its fine tuners right in front of the fine tuners. There's no bridge there, and so the fine tuner rests right on the metal. And as you will notice in the last video that I made and posted, where I play the three Oscar Schmidts that I've just refurbished, none of which have fine tuners, but I play a new Oscar Schmidt Autoharp in that video, and that new one, it's the first one I play in that video, that new Oscar Schmidt has Oscar Schmidt fine tuners, and you can hear how they're sucking the sound right away from the sound of the Autoharp. If they had designed them to accommodate a bridge in that space, then it would work better, and you'd get more substantial bass and volume out of your strings. But there's no room to put a bridge in there because of where the windings are on the strings that they make for those instruments. And so those fine tuners would probably benefit from the addition of a bridge and a brass rod, but they don't have that. So fine tuners just add that extra amount of zing to your tuning. Is your Autoharp in tune with a Snark? Sure, it's close enough, and it sounds good to me. But when I hear that little difference put into all the strings and then played across the spectrum of the entire Autoharp, when I'm playing it, it sounds stellar. It sounds so much better. And so what I'm hoping to do is now get that on tape for you guys, tape on digital media, on camera, so that you guys can hear the difference. So to do that, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to tune an Autoharp with a Snark and play it for you, and then tune it with the Peterson perfectly, and then play it for you again on the same camera with the same mic with no time in between. So that's what I'm going to set up to do now. You won't see me doing that part because you've seen me tune an Autoharp before, but I'm going to come back with the same Autoharp twice and play it for you both times, and hopefully you will hear the difference between the Snark tuner and the Peterson tuner. Now, am I saying that you should get a Peterson tuner? Not necessarily, because first of all, I don't know if the camera is going to hear the difference that I hear. I don't know because the mic is out here, but my ear is right by the strings. So will we hear the difference on the camera and on the recording? Furthermore, will you hear the difference compared to my sensitive? I've been playing Autoharp for 35 years and I tune Autoharps for a living ears. Hopefully you will. And then you have to decide if the Snark is close enough or if you want that extra little bit of tuning. It takes more time and more patience. But with fine tuners, it's a lot easier to achieve. So that's the point of this video. I'm going to go do that tuning now, and I'll be back with the same Autoharp 2 times for you to hear the difference. Okay, this is Snark tuned. As always, wear your headphones. Get your earbuds out, get your headphones out, or at least put it on good stereo speakers. Don't listen on your phone. Don't listen on your laptop. You should never be doing that. Anyway. Because this is music, not a phone call, right? All right, so... Is it close enough? You be the judge. Okay. This is Peterson Strobe tuner tuned with the fine tuners. So what did you think? The hat means I'm playing the fine tuner Peterson Strobe tuner version. So what do you think? There's the difference. You be the judge. You decide what you need to do or not to tune your Autoharp. I just wanted to give you the facts. So hope this was interesting to you. It certainly was rambling, wasn't it? If you like this series, you can contribute by going over to patreon.com/halweeks and becoming a regular member of Stalking the Wild Autoharp. And if you're interested in some Autoharp lessons, I teach from right over there. And I can help you wherever you are in the world, or wherever you are in your playing, through Zoom and meeting with me on a weekly basis, and I'd be glad to do that with you. So for now, I'm Hal Weeks. Thanks for watching Stalking the Wild Autoharp. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.